Hey guys, my name is Cameron Cause and welcome to the Tardis library. Today I'm going to be doing my first ever review. I'm going to be talking about the Series 10 premiere of Doctor Who, the pilot. I'll be uploading these reviews every Sunday or Monday depending on how organised I am. I will also be uploading a review for older episodes every Monday, starting with Rose. Now, I know Series 10 is already into its third episode, so I've uploaded my reviews for episode 2 and 3 alongside this one. And I've also uploaded my review for Rose, so make sure you check those out too. So, let's get to it. Okay, this is the episode that introduced Bill Potts, so I'm going to open with her. Bill is a little strange for me. Sometimes she's funny, the penguin with his arse on fire was hilarious, other times she just seems annoying and maybe even a little dumb, or just not really with it. I'm still on the fence about Bill. She's okay, but I find her a little overly optimistic and cheery, to be honest. It's not a bad thing, I just find those kind of personalities annoying. I'd actually been happier with Heather joining the TARDIS. It would have made more sense with her wanting to leave and escape with her life. So I just think that would have been... I just think it would have suited Heather a bit more. So I'm not sure about Bill yet, but I suppose anything is better than Clara or Rose, because I really hated those companions, so I'm glad she's at least a step up from them. And I'd say I find her okay. I like how she asks questions that nobody really asked before. Her reaction to the TARDIS was a little more unique. The whole kitchen thing is a very unique comment. The kind of questions that nobody thought of asking before, such as where the toilet was. And I find she's a very different companion than who we're used to. She never did go to the toilet, even though she said she needed to. It's one of Moffat's many plot holes. Maybe she peed herself because the monster was continually dripping water. Anyway, at this point in the season, I'm not sure where I stand on Bill. I think she has a very different personality. I think she's a very different companion than we're used to seeing on screen. And I also think she does bring something fresh. But she definitely has the potential to bring some great new energy to the show. I'm just not sure where I stand on her at the moment, but hopefully she'll win me over at some point this season. Now for one of the strongest points from the episode. Capaldi's Doctor is portrayed perfectly throughout this episode. In Series 9 I just found he made too many jokes, too much gimmicks, and it's just all humour from Capaldi, and it just felt like it was written for Matt Smith, and it just fell flat when Capaldi did it. I find that Capaldi is best when he's serious and dark, but he can't do humour too well. He's an amazing actor, but he's just not too good when it comes to humour, and I just don't think it suits Capaldi's Doctor. However, in this episode, Capaldi felt much more mature and serious, while still maintaining that rocker personality that he built up. And I just love the idea of him being a lecturer. I think it suited his Doctor very well, just him delivering lectures and teaching. The gimmicks and jokes are toned down, and it just shows some maturity, which brings me back to the maturity of the David Tennant episodes, the kind of maturity I think the show lost with Matt Smith. And it just means that the Doctor is coming across as more of an eccentric genius, which I love, rather than the mad idiot he seems to have been for the last few series. And I think the mad idiot worked for Matt Smith, because that was just his kind of Doctor, it was his Doctor's personality, but it just doesn't suit Capaldi's Doctor, and it doesn't really work well with Capaldi, but I think his performance is one of the episode's strongest points. Okay, let's talk about Nardole. I'm sure you all want to hear my opinion of him. Nardole is a character I actually like. I don't get all the hate for him. He provides the comic relief and just the humour that I don't think Capaldi's Doctor can do effectively. He's an entertaining and enjoyable character, and I love him. I just don't understand why everyone seems to hate him. I don't understand what everyone's problem is with Nardole. But he's basically just a background character in this episode, so even I will admit he's one of the weakest parts of the episode, and it really seems like it could take him out with zero effect on the plot. So I just don't think Nardole is really used effectively in this episode, and he doesn't really get in many jokes either, so he doesn't really have much comic relief either. Okay, well, I think I'll also talk about Heather. I really liked the character of Heather. I thought she was a very smart and interesting character who would have made a good companion. I just find more calm and serious personalities more watchable and more enjoyable than a overly optimistic character who's always smiling and just being all cheerful all the time. With Bill's line, I hope we do see her again in future episodes, either as the puzzle creature or they can bring her back to normal somehow, because I really enjoy her character and I hope we see her in the future. Anyway, that's enough about the characters. Let's go on to the plot. So, I'll start by saying that I think this was a very average, mediocre episode. The story was just a bit weak and the resolution was a little anticlimactic. I mean, it's not a terrible episode, but it's just nothing impressive. The story opens with Bill coming into the doctor's office at a university he's been working at as a disguise. I think it was a great way to start the episode, as it almost feels like a job interview for a companion in some way. As the episode goes on, she meets Heather, a girl with a star-like pattern in her eye, who wants to leave, and they come across some puddle on the floor, and Heather just gets taken by this puddle, and the doctor realises it's like mimicking them. It's a great setup for the episode, and really intrigues you about what the puddle is. Then Heather turns up soaking and dripping everywhere, copying everything Bill says. It gives me a real Waters of Mars meets Midnight sort of vibe, and it just seems like a genuinely creepy creature, and it's a little bit chilling and a little bit, it just makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. The Doctor then hides her in the Tardis, and we see her reaction to the figure on the inside, and I think her reaction was a lot more unique than past companions, as she doesn't seem to realise it's big on the inside right away. She thinks it's fed through the wall. The way the camera pans out into a dark room means we see just the inside at the same moment as Bill. It means we're just discovering this world as Bill does, which makes it a story which I think is needed when introducing a new companion. It's told from the companion's point of view. It's the companion's story. She's the lead, and she's discovering this world, that the Doctor's world, and she's just discovering this man who can do all these incredible things. Then the Doctor starts moving all over the universe to just see how far the creature could keep going to follow her and track her down. They went to Australia and the other end of the universe in the future. They never really explained how it was able to find them, or how it time travelled, or was able to just track the TARDIS everywhere. I hope they'll explain that later, because for now that seems like a big plot hole. But I think the TARDIS travelling to all these different places was a good way to introduce you to the Doctor's universe. After this, it's really when the episode really drops the ball at this point, because they end up taking them to the Daleks as nothing more than a plot device. I really didn't like the Dalek cameo. I think that was a really bad part about this episode. It's like the Doctor sees the Daleks as so little a threat now that he'll just take Bill to a Dalek skirmish and use them to solve a little problem. And I just hate how the Daleks have also been given this stormtrooper aim recently. In the past, the Daleks almost always hit their targets. In Dalek, one killed like 200 men so easily, and they were just really good in the past series. In Doomsday, they took on 5 million Cybermen. One even hit the Doctor in the Stolen Earth. It's just sad that the Daleks have been reduced to this thing that they just have this stormtrooper aim. They're not stormtroopers. They used to be threatening and intimidating, but recently they've just been used as a plot device or for just fan service, and it just doesn't work, and it wrecks the Daleks. I just think they need a break. Its ending was also a little anticlimactic, with Bill just telling Heather to leave, and she left. It's just not the ending I thought the episode was building up to. But I'm glad it at least makes sense in terms of the plot. I hate it when they do a Deus Ex screwdriver ending, when the Doctor just uses his screwdriver and sonics something and everything's okay. So I'm really glad they avoided that. Other than that, there's not too much bad about the episode. There's just not too much that's good either. Nothing really made it that special. But I will agree that it had some strong character moments. I find it fitting that after losing Clara and River, it made sense for the Doctor to take a break and just stay on Earth. I think it was a good idea to show just how affected the Doctor was by Series 9. The scene with the Doctor about White Bill's memory, I think it was amazing, and it really showed how the Doctor was still affected by this trauma, this emotional trauma of losing people, and you can tell that he's never really recovered from that. He's still mourning that, and I think you can also tell by the little bits of fan service, the classic screwdrivers, the pictures of Susan and River, that he just can't quite let go of his past. He just finds it's just very traumatic for him emotionally, and I just think there are some very strong moments, and it really makes the episode a lot better and takes it from being an okay episode to a rather good episode that I enjoyed watching and would probably consider rewatching. I have no idea what the vault is. I think it's probably involved in the story arc, but I have absolutely no idea what is inside it, so I'm not really going to talk too much about that. I love Bill's introduction into the TARDIS, the way it takes her a while for the big on the inside thing to get into her mind. Overall, I think it's a fairly average episode, nothing too impressive, but certainly not bad, and it's a good way to introduce new fans into the series. I think a long series like Doctor Who just needs those jumping on points. It's just a good way to start the series, and just gives me hope that the series might work out, because I did not like the look of the trailer. The trailer just made the series look cheesy and childish. Bill said a lot of cringy lines in there, which made us sound like a very annoying companion that I really expected to hate. So far, the only cringy lines I can think of are the ones they put in the trailer, so it did just feel like the trailer took the worst lines from the ceilings from this whole season, and they just put it into a trailer. It made the series just look awful. I feel like they picked the worst clips they possibly could and shoved them in there. But I think it's off to a good start, which gives me hope for this series, and I hope it gets better, because overall this episode was not that impressive, and I want to see some very impressive episodes coming on. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm going to be uploading the reviews for Smile and Thin Ice at the same time as this one, along with a review of one of the older episodes, starting with Rose, so make sure you check them out too. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more, and feel free to comment below with your thoughts of the episode. I'll see you next time. Bye.